what kind of game were you playing in Africa? We are coming to your game just now, but first of all,
Oh,
we are
sure,
still in Africa. The game
sure.
you were playing while in Cameroon. Tell
Oh,
me everything you want to tell me about that.
yes. And what is good, Obey, is that when I arrived in Europe, I used those games. I will tell you after, but let me go back to the game. So when we were at school, before entering the class or after at the recess, what we do is we have a lot of game, like the hand game. And this one, I think you find it in Tanzania, you find it in Cameroon, in Nigeria, and everything. We have a game called, we say, Amina, Amina, Mina Tele, Mi Ba, Ayesi Ba. Say now, I think many of us know those games. They are like childhood game. And when you go across Africa, you find the same game. So when people were migrating, they will still use the same game. It's a hand game where we touch and everything, and it has a song, it has a melody, and we see who's the fastest after. We have a lot of game where we hold hand and people are running around us, and after at the end of the song, we hold you in the middle and we ask you a question and you choose where you want to go and you go behind the person. And after, at the end, we do like a tug of war. So we have another game where is we use the hand, we use the feet. We use the hand, we use the feet, and we will play and we have to have a matching pair. If we open the feet at the same time or you close, is a remark point like that. So all of those, what they will create is like, I don't know, I think that if we go and start analyzing them, they create that bond between us children and they help us to develop like, I don't know, communication, I don't know, joy, I don't know. All of these were part of us. And why I say it has an impact, let me tell you an experience I have. When I arrived in Europe, and I was a student, a law student as well, I couldn't find a job. They were not giving job to students. Let's say that. We couldn't find. So I decided to create this association called African Friendship. And we were using the game. I decided that I will use the game to play with the children, with European children. I will use African game to play with European children. We had so much success, Obey. I will tell you that one day they brought us the most rebellious children in the city. There was a city I remember called Malakoff, where they have children. And when they bring you the children, the counselor who are bringing you the children, they tell you, oh, the parents are on drugs, the parents are on alcohol. It's just a waste of funding because these children don't obey nobody, they don't listen to nobody. So they really, and it was like, okay, let's give these children to this African lady. So we'll see what she will do with them because they are like the one nobody wants. And they left us with the children and they left the place. When they came back 1 hour after, the children were sitting around us and they were listening. We were doing storytelling, telling them different story, like we have story with the lion and the different story with tortoise and all of these. And we use expression, we use African game, we use drum. Sometimes we put them in our story. They didn't want to leave the place. They were all amazed by everything we were telling them. And I was telling them, the counselor came back and said, what did you do? We said, we just treat them. They are children. We tell them the story as African. We just tell them the story as it is. We don't try to entertain them. We are telling them the story and they are interested by what we are doing. They are, how could I say, they were amazed by the whole thing and they start playing like children. They start playing like children. I say, because you come with stereotype. You think, okay, his parent is a drunkard, he will never be interested. No, he's a child before being the child of a drunkard. So it's a little bit to tell you that the Africa, some people are looking with the wrong eyes is actually the Africa we need to keep. That humanity we have, that love we have, and without looking at the material first, is what we need to keep, because it's very important, and it's less and less.
Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that. Before we get into the game that you are inventing and how you are using it as for social engagement in the United States today, when you look back to Cameroon, because right now you're in the United States, you're not in Cameroon.
No.
Do you think people are still playing those games you used to play when you were a child, or which all of us play when we were children back then in Africa? I'm not even talking of 200 years ago, only a few years ago. What do you think about that? Do you think they are still playing those games today?
I think they still play, because when they have like the youth anniversary, we have an anniversary of the youth. Some school come and display some of those games. So I think they still play those games. And I brought that game also the last time, because I do presentation in school also. Apart from the game, I do presentation of Africa in some schools, school in DC, in Maryland, in different schools. And I go sometimes with my embassy just to present. And what I do with those schools when they come or to the museum or to the embassy, I use the same game. I took the whole classroom the last time. They were like, I think, 7th grade or something like that. And I taught them the Amina game. And they were there, Amina. All of them, trust me. What the teacher told me is, because they have to take a bus to go back at school, they played the game all the way to the school. And they brought the game to the school and start teaching the other class how to play that game of Amina. Because we have to understand, with the society here so sophisticated, perhaps they have cell phone and they are not interested in anything or interacting with people. But when you put them back in an environment where they can touch each other and talk without having anything that is, just you bring them back to, I cannot say childhood, because you don't want them to be babies, no, but you bring them back to natural way of expression. They get it and they love it. The teacher sent us email to say how they were transmitting what we have taught them to the other children in the school.
That is actually the power of storytelling. The other day when I was talking about, that was another event, because we do audio event 2 weeks. Of course, we are thinking of doing it every week now, because we find it to be very useful, very important, where different people connect from different parts of the world. Of course, if you are listening to us, you are not yet participated in our LinkedIn audio event, we invite you to join us from time to time. We do it every 2 weeks, but now we are going to probably be doing it every week, because we find it to be very helpful for us, particularly for the African diaspora, who are looking for a way to connect with other African diaspora, because that is our intention here. We believe that everyone have a story to tell. So if you believe that you have a story to tell, or you want to listen to the story of other people, come around. Okay. We love you. We believe that we have something to share. We believe in that you have a story to share, and we want to listen to your story too. You see, the reason that story works is that it connects to us in a way that nothing else can touch us, because it touches into our very emotion, our very mechanism, how we function as entity, as human being. So it is more profound than we can ever study in school.